We're up to mitzvah number 127, found in Vayikra. This is a mitzvah saseh, performative mitzvah number 55 of the Torah, when we had the Beis Hamikdash. This is found in Vayikra Hey, Pasuk Tezvav and Tezvayin. It's a very interesting mitzvah. Mitzvah found in Vayikra 5, verse 15 and 16. Now, this says in the Torah, Nefesh ki simoil ma'al. If a person does a breach of holiness, v'chata, and then does an avera, bishgaga, does it unintentionally, mikodshe Hashem, from the sacred objects of Hashem, Vehevi es Hashamai, then he shall bring a guilt offering. And what is it? The pasuk continues in the next pasuk. It says Yishale, so he pays what he's got to pay. The thing that he basically, we'll see what this is referring to. Ves chamishisai Yosef Ola, and then he adds a fifth. Now this is referring to if a guy used something from the Beis Hamikdash for his benefit. That was it, Mikodshe Hashem. He used it unintentionally, didn't realize that he was using it, or he ate some of the kodshim, he ate some of the holy food, again by accident, inadvertently, b'shoigeg. Then whatever he used that he benefited from or he ate, he's got to pay. Plus, he has to add a fifth of the value of the thing. So whatever it is that he used, whatever the benefit was, he's got to add an extra fifth, and then he's got to bring a guilt offering, bring a carbon asham. So he brings a carbon asham, plus he pays an extra fifth, which is actually a fourth of the value of the whole thing. And like I said, he's got to bring what we call an asham, it's carbon asham, which is here it's referring to what we call an asham mi'ila. Because he was moil. He used something from the Beis Hamikdash, from something that belonged to Hashem. Now, all this applies only to a guy who did this unintentionally. But if a guy did it b'mazid, if a guy did it deliberately, then he pays the actual item. That's all that he benefited from, and he does not have to pay anything else. Nor does he bring a carbon. But he instead gets malchus if he did it b'mazid. So as soon as he had, benefit from it, then he's going to get malchus for this aveira. He's going to get a malchus for it. Now this, when we talk about this asham me'ila, this guilt offering, is one of 5 guilt offerings, one of 5 ashams, which are for certain aveiros that we talked about before. Well, some of them are going to be mentioned later on, but other ones have been we spoke before with the carbon oil of a yoyred, right? Now, let's say if it was part of a gesundheit, if it was part of a carbon, or a piece of a carbon which Kohanim were allowed to eat, then even if the non-kohen ate it, so let's say it's a part, like we talked about kodshim, talking about something that's a carbon that was supposed to be for the broth, but if the kohen was allowed to eat, it's only talking about where kohen's not allowed to eat it. No one's allowed to eat it. But if a kohen was allowed to eat it, then even if a non-kohen ate it, then there's not going to be a me'ila for this, because as long as someone was allowed to have benefit from it, then even the non-kohen who benefits from it is not going to get, malchus for this. Now, if a guy benefited from the fifth that he added afterwards, then he's going to have to pay a fifth. Let's say he brought something, the extra fifth, right? And then he has benefit from the fifth that he paid, that he was going to bring. Then he's got to pay a fifth of a fifth. So you'll have to pay the original amount plus a fifth. Plus a fifth of that fifth. All right? What we call that? A 25th. All right? So you pay a fifth and then a 25th. Okay? Now, what was this? The whole purpose of this was to teach us that a person has to have a tremendous amount of fear and awe when they're inside the base of English. You don't do things and afterwards go, oh, sorry, didn't know I wasn't allowed to eat that. Oh, I didn't know I was allowed to touch that. Person walks in, this is not your house. This is the base of Mikdash. This is the Mishkan. Wherever this is a holy place. It's not your place, it's Hashem's house. Now, obviously, we have to do the same thing when we're in somebody else's house, and you got to be careful what we're touching their things too, because that's what it talks about later on. We'll see that's going to be the same thing about bringing no carbon for that as well.